to the entire topic that we've been talking about all day, but I need to return back to this, my earlier questioning about the Express Entry program, because the crisis in our medical system across Canada is equally as important as all of the issues we're talking about today. We need to find ways for the doctors that are waiting for both residency, accreditation, review by provincial authorities. But my information tells me now that only about 2% of the existing backlog of physicians have been successful through the Express Entry program. Mr. Harris, you said you had a good relationship, and the department has a good relationship with provincial partners and private sector partners. But where is the pain point? Where, if we do actually have over 13,000 doctors in Canada that can't get residency or a license to practice, why? I just want to juxtapose this against the target of another 5,000 people that may actually end up in a greater backlog. How do we fix that?
So 2 points of clarification. Thank you for the opportunity to clarify it. So the first problem you're talking about, as you're rightly stating, is a problem with foreign credential recognition. Those numbers are people who are not available to work in that workforce today because they are not recognized, their credentials are not recognized, and their experience is not recognized. Sure.
Do that. But these are people that are already in Canada.
Right.
These are people with medical degrees that we have stalled in a system because we can't get the paperwork verified. Is that correct?
Verified or equivalized. So, like, I'm not an expert in foreign credential recognition. The colleges in each of the provinces deal with foreign credential recognition. We are partnering with our Health Canada colleagues and our provincial colleagues and others to find ways to streamline this. And some provinces have been incredibly creative in fast tracking.
This sort of goes to the heart with all the interprovincial trade barriers. Everything we do in Canada seems to have barriers as we go down through jurisdictional levels. But if we have, look, I have 2 hospitals in my riding that are closing because we can't find primary care doctors. Yet we have between 13 and 18,000 doctors that are sitting here in Canada awaiting to go through that process. Again, like, if you want, you've with great fanfare, the minister has announced that she wants to add another 5,000. It sounds great. But what about the 13, 15, 18,000 that are already sitting here? Is there not a way that you can coordinate better with your partners in the industry to fast track those critical care doctors that mean so much to my region in Niagara?
What I would say is we're working with our partners. We don't have any authorities or anything that we can force colleges and to recognize people.
But you've allowed them in the country because they were doctors.
Well, they may have come in under a variety of different reasons. They may not have come in to practice their medicine. They may have come in for family reunification processes.
But not 18,000.
Over the course of a long time, that number could accumulate.
But that's what we're looking for now. That's what we're looking at now, in the gap of the people that are in Canada wanting to practice medicine, wanting to come to Niagara, wanting to help me save the 2 hospitals that are closing, but we can't get them through the system. This is highly critical. Do you have any thoughts on how we can fix this and make it faster so that these doctors can actually get to work in Canada?
As I see, there's some best practices emerging in Canada. So some of the provinces, I know, for example, one case I was familiar with about 3 years ago, of an asylum claimant who was a medical doctor who came to Canada, went to Alberta because Alberta had a program at the time, I don't know if it's still in place, where they can intern underneath the supervision of another person and get fast-tracked to serve their northern communities.
1 minute.
So we would advocate for anything that can be done to streamline that. Just on the 5,000, I did want to say, like, we are making a priority for in-Canada doctors to be converted to permanent residents. That is of the 5,000 isn't just new people coming into the country. It's also people already here who haven't secured permanent residency to become permanent residents in Canada.
In addition to the many thousands that are still waiting to get through that residency process?
Well, it depends on what your number is based on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there were about 1,000 Canadian international medical students that were turned away last year for residencies. Is part of the problem that the hospital capacity is not there to actually give jobs to these doctors?
I can't speak to that.
Okay, so this is pretty low-hanging fruit. If you've got internationally trained doctors, graduates, some of whom are Canadian, that can't get residencies in here. Is there not a process as they go through this application, as they go through the application process, are these issues not identified, and why would they be turned away?
Again, I can't speak to these. These are programs that are regulated by the provinces and territories.
Okay, so
Thank